The morning mist hung low over Windsor Castle as Catherine, Princess of Wales, stood at her bedroom window, watching the grounds come alive with activity. Staff members moved purposefully across the courtyard, carrying arrangements of winter roses and evergreen garlands. Today marked something special, the annual Christmas carol service that would bring together members of the royal family in a celebration of unity and tradition that hadn't been seen in years. Catherine adjusted her silk robe and smiled softly. The idea for this particular service had been hers, born from a desire to heal old wounds and strengthen family bonds during what had been a challenging year. She had spent months planning every detail, from the musical selections to the seating arrangements, ensuring that each element would contribute to an atmosphere of warmth and reconciliation. Down in the castle's main kitchen, head chef Marcus Williams was already deep into preparations for the reception that would follow the service. The menu had been carefully crafted to include favorites from across the family. Prince William's beloved treacle tart, King Charles's preference for organic vegetables from his own gardens, and even a nod to Queen Camilla's love of traditional British puddings. The kitchen buzzed with controlled energy as sous chefs prepared delicate canapes and arranged them on silver platters that had served the royal family for generations. Meanwhile, in London, Prince Harry sat in his temporary residence, staring at the formal invitation that had arrived 3 weeks earlier. The cream-colored paper bore the royal crest, and Catherine's personal note was written in her familiar, elegant handwriting. "We would be honored by your presence," she had written. "Family should be together during the season of hope." The words had stirred something in him that he hadn't felt in months, a longing for the warmth of family traditions and the comfort of belonging. Meghan emerged from the adjoining room, already dressed in a sophisticated navy blue coat that complemented her natural grace. She had noticed Harry's contemplative mood over the past few days as the date of the service approached. The decision to attend had not been an easy one for either of them, given the complexities of recent years, but something about Catherine's genuine invitation had touched them both. Meghan understood the significance of this moment. It represented an opportunity for healing that might not come again. At Clarence House, King Charles was reviewing the order of service with his private secretary. The program included traditional carols that had been sung at royal Christmas celebrations for centuries, alongside more contemporary pieces that reflected the family's connection to modern Britain. Charles had specifically requested that "O Holy Night" be included, remembering how his mother had loved that particular carol and how it had always marked the true beginning of the Christmas season for their family. Queen Camilla entered the study carrying 2 cups of tea, a daily ritual that had become one of the small pleasures of their married life. She could see the thoughtfulness in Charles's expression as he reviewed the musical selections. This service meant more to him than many realized. It represented his vision of a royal family that could adapt and grow while honoring its deepest traditions. The fact that Catherine had taken the initiative to organize such an event filled him with pride in his daughter-in-law's understanding of what the family needed. The choice of venue had been deliberate. Rather than the grandeur of Westminster Abbey or St. George's Chapel, Catherine had selected the more intimate St. Mark's Church in nearby Englefield. The smaller setting would create an atmosphere of personal connection rather than state ceremony. The church's warm stone walls and beautiful stained glass windows would provide the perfect backdrop for what she hoped would be a genuine family moment rather than a public spectacle. Reverend Jonathan Mitchell had worked closely with Catherine to plan the service. He understood the delicate nature of bringing the family together and had crafted his words carefully. His homily would focus on themes of forgiveness, understanding, and the power of love to bridge any divide. As a longtime friend of the royal family, he had witnessed both their joys and their struggles, and he felt honored to play a role in what might prove to be a turning point in their relationships. The guest list had been kept deliberately small. Beyond the immediate family, only a few close friends and long-serving staff members had been invited. This was not about public relations or royal duties. It was about family, pure and simple. Catherine had personally extended each invitation, ensuring that everyone understood the personal nature of the occasion. As the morning progressed, the various family members began their preparations. William spent extra time with their children, explaining the importance of the day and helping them understand why they were gathering as a family. Prince George, Princess Charlotte, and Prince Louis had been excited about the prospect of singing carols and seeing their cousins, approaching the event with the innocent joy that only children possess. The security arrangements had been handled with characteristic discretion. While protection was always a consideration for royal gatherings, the team had worked to ensure that their presence would not detract from the intimate nature of the service. The goal was to create an environment where family members could interact naturally, without the formal constraints that often govern their public appearances. Catherine's lady-in-waiting helped her select the perfect outfit for the occasion, an elegant burgundy coat that struck the right balance between formal respect for the setting and warm approachability for the family gathering. The color seemed appropriate for the season and the sentiment of the day. Her jewelry was kept simple, pearl earrings that had belonged to Diana, a subtle acknowledgement of the family history, and the healing that this service represented. The florists had worked through the night to create arrangements that would enhance the church's natural beauty without overwhelming it. White roses, evergreen branches, and touches of deep red ribbon adorned the altar and pews. The scent of pine and fresh flowers would create a sensory experience that complemented the spiritual and emotional significance of the gathering. Local residents had begun to notice increased activity around the church, but the specific details of the service had been kept private. This discretion was important to Catherine's vision. She wanted the family to feel free to express genuine emotion without concern for public scrutiny. The service would be documented for the family's personal records, but there would be no live broadcasts or press presence. As noon approached, the final preparations were being completed. The organist ran through the selected hymns one final time, ensuring that the musical accompaniment would be flawless. The church's acoustic properties made even simple melodies sound rich and full, creating the perfect atmosphere for voices raised together in song. Catherine took one last look around the church before the family's arrival, satisfied that every detail reflected her hopes for the day. The warm lighting, beautiful flowers, and carefully arranged seating created exactly the atmosphere she had envisioned. Most importantly, there was a sense of peace in the space, a feeling that this was a place where healing could happen and where family bonds could be strengthened through shared faith and tradition. The first car to arrive at St. Mark's Church carried King Charles and Queen Camilla, their journey from Windsor having been spent in comfortable conversation about the significance of the day ahead. As their vehicle pulled up to the church entrance, Charles noticed the careful attention that had been paid to every detail, from the discreet security presence to the beautiful floral arrangements visible through the ancient windows. He felt a surge of gratitude toward Catherine for her thoughtfulness in organizing this gathering. Camilla squeezed her husband's hand gently as they prepared to step out of the car. She had watched him hope for family reconciliation for so long, and today felt like the first real step toward that goal in many months. The Queen Consort had developed her own relationship with each family member over the years, understanding their individual personalities and the unique dynamics that shaped their interactions. Inside the church, Catherine made final adjustments to the seating arrangements, ensuring that family members would be positioned in a way that encouraged natural conversation and connection. She had given considerable thought to these details, knowing that small gestures could have significant impact on the overall atmosphere of the gathering. The children's section had been arranged near the front, where their natural enthusiasm for the carols would add joy to the proceedings. William arrived next, accompanied by their 3 children who were barely containing their excitement about the special family service. Prince George walked with a measured dignity that was becoming natural to him as he grew older, while Princess Charlotte practically skipped with delight at the prospect of singing her favorite Christmas songs. Prince Louis held his father's hand tightly, still young enough to find large gatherings both exciting and slightly overwhelming. The children's presence immediately transformed the atmosphere in the church. Their genuine excitement and innocent questions about the service reminded everyone present why family traditions mattered so much. Charlotte had been practicing Silent Night for weeks, determined to sing it perfectly for the family gathering, while George had chosen the first Noel as his contribution to the musical program. Reverend Mitchell greeted each family member personally as they arrived, his warm demeanor helping to establish the comfortable, intimate atmosphere that Catherine had envisioned. He had served royal family events before, but never one that felt quite as personally significant as this gathering. The Reverend understood that his role extended beyond simply conducting the service. He was helping to facilitate a moment of family healing and connection. When the car carrying Prince Harry and Meghan appeared at the church entrance, a subtle but noticeable shift occurred in the gathering. Catherine immediately moved toward the door, her genuine smile and welcoming embrace setting the tone for how this reunion would unfold. The Princess of Wales had thought carefully about this moment, knowing that the first few minutes would be crucial in establishing whether the day would achieve its intended purpose. Harry looked around the church with obvious emotion, taking in the familiar surroundings and the family members who had gathered. The intimate setting felt different from the formal state occasions that had characterized so many of their recent interactions. Here, surrounded by the warm glow of candlelight and the scent of evergreen, it was easier to remember the bonds that had once made their family gatherings a source of joy rather than tension. Meghan's grace in these first moments of reunion was evident to everyone present. She moved through the greetings with dignity and warmth, particularly when interacting with the children who approached her with the uncomplicated affection that only young people possess. Her conversation with Camilla was especially significant, as the two women had worked to build mutual understanding despite the challenges of recent years. The moment when Harry and William first spoke was observed by the entire family, though everyone attempted to give them space for what was clearly an important exchange. The brothers' conversation was brief, but meaningful, their shared glances toward their children suggesting that the next generation remained a powerful motivation for maintaining family connections. Catherine watched from a respectful distance, pleased to see that her husband and brother-in-law were finding their way toward renewed communication. King Charles approached Harry with visible emotion, their embrace lasting longer than protocol typically permitted. The king had missed his younger son deeply, and the opportunity to have him present for a family celebration felt like an unexpected gift. Their conversation touched on family memories and shared hopes for the future, establishing a foundation for the healing that everyone hoped would continue beyond this single gathering. As the family settled into their seats, the organist began playing gentle background music that filled the church with peaceful melodies. The children naturally gravitated toward each other, their excited whispers and occasional giggles adding a layer of authentic family warmth to the proceedings. Charlotte made sure her younger brother Louis knew when to stand and sit, while George helped organize the carol sheets that had been prepared for each family member. The service began with a traditional welcome from Reverend Mitchell, his words carefully chosen to acknowledge both the significance of the Christmas season and the importance of family unity. He spoke about the power of music to bring people together across differences and difficulties, setting the stage for the carol singing that would form the heart of the gathering. The first hymn was "O Come, All Ye Faithful," chosen because it was familiar to everyone and would allow the family to find their voices together. As the opening notes filled the church, individual voices gradually joined the melody. Charles's deep bass provided a strong foundation, while Camilla's clear soprano added brightness to the harmonies. William and Catherine sang together, their voices blending naturally after years of shared musical experiences. When Harry's voice joined the chorus, there was a moment of recognition from other family members who remembered his love of music from childhood. Meghan added her own voice with quiet confidence, contributing to the growing richness of the family choir. The children sang with enthusiasm that more than compensated for any lack of perfect pitch, their joy in the music infectious to everyone present. The second carol, Silent Night, had special significance because Princess Charlotte had requested it specifically. As the familiar melody began, the young princess stepped forward slightly, her clear voice leading the family through the beloved lyrics. Her performance was both touching and technically impressive, reflecting the musical education she had received, but more importantly demonstrating her genuine love for the song. During the instrumental interlude between carols, family members shared quiet conversations that strengthened the connections being rebuilt through their shared participation in the service. These moments of personal interaction were exactly what Catherine had hoped to facilitate, opportunities for natural family bonding away from the pressures and protocols of their public duties. The children's enthusiasm for Jingle Bells brought smiles to every adult face, as Prince Louis attempted to sing along despite not quite knowing all the words. His creative interpretations of the lyrics caused gentle laughter throughout the church, the kind of spontaneous joy that reminded everyone why family gatherings could be such sources of happiness and renewal. As the service continued, the healing power of shared tradition became increasingly evident. Old hurts seemed less important in the context of voices raised together in celebration of faith and family. The music created a bridge across recent difficulties, allowing family members to connect on the level of shared values and enduring love that had always formed the foundation of their relationships despite temporary challenges and misunderstandings. The turning point of the service came during Reverend Mitchell's homily, which he had crafted specifically for this unique family gathering. His words spoke of the transformative power of forgiveness and the strength that comes from choosing love over division. The Reverend drew parallels between the Christmas story of reconciliation and the opportunities that every family faces to heal old wounds and build stronger bonds. As he spoke about the importance of understanding different perspectives and finding common ground, several family members exchanged meaningful glances. His message resonated particularly strongly with those who had experienced the pain of family discord and recognized the precious opportunity that this gathering represented. The Reverend's gentle wisdom provided a framework for the emotional healing that everyone hoped would continue beyond this single afternoon. Following the homily, the family shared in reading selections from the Bible that related to themes of peace, love, and unity. Each family member had been invited to participate, and Catherine had carefully matched the readings to individual personalities and interests. King Charles read from Isaiah with the gravitas that came naturally to his years of public speaking, while his words about comfort and hope carried particular weight given the family's recent challenges. When it was Harry's turn to read, he chose a passage from Corinthians about love being patient and kind. His voice carried emotion as he spoke the familiar words, and many family members recognized the significance of his choice. The reading seemed to serve as both a reflection on family relationships and a commitment to approaching future interactions with the patience and kindness that love requires. Megan's reading from Matthew about peacemakers carried its own powerful message, delivered with the poise and conviction that had always characterized her public speaking. Her words about blessed are those who work for peace seem to acknowledge her own hopes for family harmony while recognizing the effort required from all parties to achieve lasting reconciliation. The children participated by reading a special Christmas prayer that Catherine had helped them practice. Their innocent voices speaking words of gratitude and hope brought tears to several adult eyes as the family was reminded of what truly mattered most, the love and joy that could be passed down to future generations if they could find ways to preserve family unity. Between the formal readings, periods of quiet reflection allowed family members to process the emotions and memories that the service was stirring. These moments of silence were filled with the weight of shared history and the possibility of renewed relationships. The church's peaceful atmosphere provided a safe space for contemplation and internal resolution of long-held grievances. The musical portion of the service resumed with Angels We Have Heard on High, a carol that required the family to work together to achieve the complex harmonies in the famous Gloria refrain. The collaborative nature of the music served as a metaphor for family cooperation, as individual voices had to blend and support each other to create something beautiful together. William's natural musical ability shone during this carol, as he helped coordinate the different vocal parts and encouraged family members who were less confident about their singing abilities. His leadership in this musical moment reflected the supportive role he often played within the family, serving as a bridge between different personalities and perspectives. The children's delight in the more elaborate musical arrangements was evident in their enthusiastic participation and their obvious pride in contributing to the family performance. Their energy and joy served as a reminder of what was at stake in maintaining family harmony. The happiness and security of the next generation depended on the adults' ability to work through their differences. As the formal service portion drew to a close, Reverend Mitchell offered a special blessing for the family that acknowledged both their public responsibilities and their private joys and challenges. His words asked for divine guidance in their roles as family members and as servants of the British people, recognizing the unique pressures they faced and the importance of maintaining strong personal relationships to sustain them through their duties. The final carol, Silent Night, was sung by the entire family together, their voices creating a rich harmony that filled the ancient church with beautiful sound. The familiar melody seemed to wrap around them like an embrace, symbolizing the comfort and peace that family unity could provide. As the last notes faded, a profound silence settled over the gathering, pregnant with possibility and hope. Following the service, the family moved to the church's adjacent hall for a reception that Catherine had organized to provide opportunities for more personal conversation and connection. The informal setting allowed family members to interact naturally, sharing memories and catching up on developments in each other's lives without the constraints of formal protocol. The refreshments reflected Catherine's attention to personal preferences and family traditions. Afternoon tea selections included homemade scones with clotted cream and jam, delicate finger sandwiches, and seasonal treats that evoked childhood Christmas memories. The children gravitated toward a special table of sweets that had been prepared just for them, their laughter and excitement adding liveliness to the gathering. Conversations flowed more easily in the relaxed atmosphere of the reception hall. Harry and William found themselves sharing stories about their children's latest adventures and milestones, their common experience of fatherhood providing natural ground for renewed connection. Their wives joined these conversations naturally, the four of them rediscovering the easy friendship that had characterized their relationships in earlier, less complicated times. King Charles spent considerable time with his grandchildren, his face lighting up as they shared their excitement about Christmas plans and school activities. His interactions with both his son's children demonstrated his deep commitment to maintaining strong relationships across any family divisions, ensuring that the next generation would know their grandfather's love regardless of adult disagreements. Queen Camilla proved to be particularly skilled at facilitating comfortable conversations between family members who hadn't spoken at length in many months. Her natural warmth and diplomatic instincts helped smooth any remaining awkwardness, creating space for genuine reconnection without forcing interactions that might feel artificial or premature. The afternoon's success was evident in the gradually relaxing body language of all the family members present. Initial tension and formal politeness gave way to more natural interactions as the gathering progressed. Laughter became more frequent and spontaneous, and conversations extended beyond polite pleasantries to include genuine interest in each other's lives and experiences. Photography was kept minimal and private, with only a few candid shots captured to document the family's time together. Catherine had been very specific about maintaining the personal nature of the gathering, ensuring that family members could interact without concern for how their conversations or expressions might be interpreted by the public or media. As the reception continued, it became clear that the day was achieving Catherine's hoped-for results. Family members were remembering why they cared about each other despite recent difficulties. The children's natural bonds were being reinforced, and the adults were finding ways to move beyond past hurts toward renewed relationships based on mutual respect and enduring love. as the afternoon progressed into early evening. The atmosphere in the reception hall had transformed completely from the careful politeness of the initial gathering to the warm familiarity of a genuine family celebration. The success of Catherine's vision was evident in every corner of the room, where natural conversations flowed and genuine laughter could be heard echoing off the ancient stone walls. Prince George had taken it upon himself to organize games for the younger attendees, demonstrating the natural leadership qualities that were beginning to emerge as he grew older. His careful inclusion of his cousins in every activity showed the diplomatic skills that seemed to run in the family, along with a genuine desire to ensure everyone felt welcome and included in the fun. Princess Charlotte had discovered a shared love of art with one of the family friend's daughters who had been invited to the gathering. The two girls spent considerable time comparing drawings they had brought to show their families, their animated discussion about colors and techniques bringing smiles to the adults who overheard their earnest artistic critiques and ambitious creative plans. Prince Louis, though younger than the other children, had found his own way to contribute to the family atmosphere by charming every adult present with his natural curiosity and innocent observations about the day's events. His questions about the church service and his honest reactions to the various foods at the reception provided moments of gentle humor that helped maintain the relaxed mood Catherine had worked so hard to create. The conversations between Harry and his father had evolved throughout the afternoon from cautious politeness to genuine emotional connection. King Charles had shared stories about his own relationship with his parents, offering perspective on the challenges of balancing family relationships with royal duties. These personal revelations helped Harry understand his father's position better, while also allowing Charles to express regret about missed opportunities for closer connection in earlier years. Meghan had found an unexpected ally in Queen Camilla, as the two women discovered common interests in literature and charitable work with women's organizations. Their conversation revealed shared values and similar approaches to using their platforms for positive social impact. This connection seemed to surprise both women, as they realized they had more in common than either had previously understood. The interaction between William and Harry gradually became more natural as the afternoon continued, their shared memories of family holidays and childhood adventures providing safe ground for rebuilding their relationship. Their wives' supportive presence helped facilitate these conversations, as Catherine and Meghan had maintained their own friendship despite the family tensions, and were able to model the kind of gracious interaction that could move the entire family forward. Reverend Mitchell had remained for the reception at Catherine's invitation, and his presence continued to provide a calming influence on the gathering. His conversations with various family members reinforced the spiritual themes of forgiveness and renewal that had been central to the service, helping to maintain the reflective mood that made deeper emotional connections possible. The children's natural ability to live in the moment served as an inspiration to the adults present, reminding everyone that family joy was still possible despite past difficulties. Their excitement about simple pleasures like special treats and games with relatives demonstrated the happiness that could be preserved and nurtured if the adults could find ways to maintain family unity. As the day drew toward its close, family members began making plans for future gatherings, a clear indication that the carol service had succeeded in its primary goal of rebuilding family connections. These conversations were initiated naturally by various family members rather than being suggested by any single person, showing that the desire for continued contact was genuinely shared across the family. King Charles extended an invitation for Christmas dinner at Sandringham, something that hadn't been possible in recent years due to family tensions. The invitation was offered with obvious hope and received with genuine appreciation, representing a major step toward normalized family relationships during the holiday season that held so much significance for their traditions. Catherine found herself feeling deeply satisfied as she observed the various conversations and connections happening throughout the reception hall. Her months of planning and careful attention to every detail had produced exactly the result she had hoped for. A renewal of family bonds that would benefit everyone present, but especially the children who deserve to grow up surrounded by loving, extended family relationships. The exchange of personal contact information between family members who hadn't spoken directly in months provided practical evidence that the day's healing was intended to continue beyond this single gathering. These were not the formal communications that had characterized their recent interactions, but personal phone numbers and email addresses that would allow for direct, private family conversation. William took a moment to express his gratitude to his wife for organizing the gathering, recognizing the emotional risk she had taken in reaching out to estranged family members and the considerable effort she had invested in creating the perfect atmosphere for reconciliation. Her success in bringing the family together represented not just excellent event planning, but genuine understanding of what each family member needed to feel comfortable participating in the healing process. The children's reluctance to end the gathering was perhaps the strongest testament to the day's success. Their obvious disappointment about having to leave demonstrated that they had genuinely enjoyed spending time with their extended family and wanted more opportunities for such gatherings. Their request for specific plans to see cousins again soon provided natural opportunities for their parents to commit to maintaining the renewed family connections. As family members began preparing to leave, the farewells carried a different quality than the greetings had hours earlier. The initial caution and formality had been replaced by genuine warmth and expressions of love and appreciation. The hugs lasted longer. The promises to stay in touch carried real weight, and the smiles reflected authentic happiness rather than polite duty. Harry and Meghan's departure was particularly significant, as their decision to extend their stay in the UK to allow for additional family time demonstrated their commitment to rebuilding relationships. Their private conversation with Charles and Camilla before leaving resulted in specific plans for future meetings, providing structure for continued healing and connection. The cleaning staff who arrived to restore the church and reception hall found evidence of a truly joyful gathering. Children's drawings left behind, song sheets with personal notes written in margins, and the general disorder that comes from a successful family party. These small details told the story of a day when formality had given way to authentic family connection. Catherine was the last to leave, taking a final walk through the church where the transformation had begun. The candles had burned down to stubs, the flower arrangements showed the slight disorder of a well-used space, and the hymnals were scattered from enthusiastic use during the service. Everything about the scene spoke to the genuine engagement and emotional investment that family members had brought to the day. As her car pulled away from St. Mark's Church, Catherine reflected on the day's success and began planning ways to maintain the momentum that had been created. The carol service had proven that healing was possible when approached with patience, understanding, and genuine love for family. The foundation had been laid for renewed relationships that could support the entire family through future challenges while preserving their traditions for the next generation. The evening news that night carried brief mentions of royal family members attending a private church service, but the real significance of the day remained within the family itself. The healing that had begun in the peaceful atmosphere of the carol service would continue in private conversations and shared experiences that would rebuild trust and restore the loving relationships that had always been at the heart of their family identity. The success of Catherine's initiative would inspire similar efforts in months to come, as family members discovered that intentional gathering and shared activities could overcome even significant differences when approached with genuine commitment to preserving family bonds. The carol service had become the first chapter in a new story of family healing and renewed unity.